All right, guys. Hey, welcome to the Family First Life SkyPoint Get to 20K call. My name is Stephen Yee. I am your host today. I have the pleasure of one of my buddies, top producer John Bacaron, with us. John, you there? But you there?
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Hey, man. So, dude, thanks for taking time out the day. Number one, because I know it's early in the morning for you guys. But this call is real basic, man. It's really simple for our new guys that are or the guys that haven't written 20 grand yet. It's how do we get them there, right? I
Right.
think the name of the call is really simple. So, you've been here for a minute now,
Uh,
and you've been slaying it since you've been here, right? So you've had prior experience before coming to Family First Life. Can you talk about how it's different where you were to where you are now, especially with the system that we have in place?
okay, so just a quick introduction about me. I've been in insurance for about 13 years now. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, 12, turning 13 years. So I'm 35. I started at 22, straight out of college. Okay, I came from our old company. I spent about 10 years there to be vested, and then I switched over here with Albert Lau with FFL Elite. So he was my original manager back at our old company. He was 1 year ahead of me, so he got to leave on his 10th, 11th year. I had to wait for my 10-year vesting before I had to leave. So I saw him first.
Can you
Watch
talk
FFL.
about that? Because like we're vested day one here, and a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah.
Because we had a good conversation on Saturday about being vested, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like the folks that are here, dude, like you said something that was magic. You had to be 10 years in to be vested. Bro, I
Yeah.
didn't even have my insurance license for 10 years, dude.
Right.
Like not even 6. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, can
We're
you
so
talk about
spoiled
that?
here. Let's talk a little bit about that. Yeah, we're so spoiled here. What people don't understand what lifetime vesting is. So FFL is so crazy about giving that credit to that agent. So how old school insurance companies made money was that you're the agent, they're like the director, the owner, the title, right? And the owner had this big old cut difference from you. So our state director had 110% commission contract, and he started new agents at 50%. And the next manager between that did everything for that new agent was like only 10 points above them.
Right.
So they had 60, 65%, 15%. And then the SGA kept the difference. And then on the back end with the renewals, that's where we had vesting and they had percentages. So the state director would have 20%, the manager would have like 8%, the agent would have 5. Okay. So the SGA, the state director had 12, manager had the difference of the 8 to the 5, which is a 3%,
Right.
and they kept everything. So the name of the game in the insurance industry is all about back end renewals because everyone got front end. You got paid on your annual premium, right?
Right.
And you got a big commission. But the insurance company, they make money the year after. It takes about 13 months for a policy to clear because after everyone's commissions got paid, the next premium you're only keeping. They only got to pay out to the state director, the IMO, whoever else for the 20%. The insurance company keeps the remaining 80 year by year.
Dude, so
And so,
can you talk about that? Because like at Family First Life, like you get that right away.
right.
Where
So,
you had to wait 10 years to
so
have
10-year
renewals.
vesting, how that works, if you are only with that insurance company per year, you are getting credited or vested 10% per year. So if I left the company on my 5th year, I'm vested 50% only for the next 10 years. So after you leave, all the business and work that you've done, you're only going to get 50% of your renewals.
Right.
You
So
leave
then
on
when
8
people
years,
quit, like if people quit your company, you would take the renewals or the guy above you would take the renewals, right?
correct. Well, actually, the main guy, the state director, keeps everything
Right. So
because
they
the
were
middle
banking on
manager only
people to
gets that
quit.
3%. Yeah.
Wow.
So you have to wait 10 years. After 10 years and a day, your lifetime vested, that's yours now. Whereas here in FFL, you write your first piece of business, your lifetime vested there and now.
Right. So let's talk about it because at Family First Life, if you did leave, the renewals go with you because Sean doesn't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
You guys left that old company and you had your renewals were like 6-7 grand a month, right?
Uh,
What happened to your renewals once you left?
it's gone, man.
They took
So
them.
because you know why? We had these contracts we signed. And
Right.
since we had these contracts we signed that's for the conservation of the carrier or the company, they came up with any little thing to say, hey, you know what, you breached contract. So by the way, that tenure you had, John, yeah, you breached it. So they just
That's
took
so
it.
crazy, man. That is so
Which,
crazy.
at the same time, I mean, it hurt us, but at the same time, we understood like, okay, the opportunity is bigger here. That's
Right.
chump change compared to what we could work for.
Right. So let's talk about that, because you didn't really have leads. Or I mean, you guys say you guys have leads, but you didn't have leads. Let's be real.
Yeah.
You come to Family First Live, now you have all kinds of leads. Talk about like how you're able to get instance Facebook final expense, direct mail final expense, mortgage. Like you can run a plethora of anything. Right. So like how massive is that for you coming here and going, where we didn't really have leads. We have leads here. Boom. Let me buy. You can control your lead flow.
Yeah.
Because where you were before, you had to kiss butt.
Yeah. So let me put it in perspective. That big cut of a difference, why the state director claimed that they needed that, is that they purchased the leads for the agents, but it's based on favoritism at that point, right? Because if they're buying the leads, it's out of their pocket. They got to give it to an agent that's going to be able to produce and turn a profit from it. So typically every agent had sparingly got a lead. They would get like 20 to 30 leads a month, compared to coming back here, 20 to 30 leads a month, and you had to just survive off of that. Call them, book them, get referrals out of them, get referrals out of their referrals. You're essentially just marketing most of the time. And just by numbers, dude, the average appointment numbers from an agent across the board is like 5 to 10. And then there's the outliers, the top producers that were fed leads. Then they can get the 20 appointments,
Right.
So coming aboard here at FFL, even you as a brand new agent, with or without favoritism, you have the full control of your leads. You can purchase as much as you want. Right. I came in, I just gave them my credit cards, like throw them down here. Let's see what we can do with them. Right. Let's make a mistake, but at the same time, we had opportunity.
Right. So you came in here and wrote like 20 right off the bat. What do you think your lead flow was? Or what do you think it is now? The premium that you're writing 20, 30, 40 grand a month. What does your lead flow look like every single week? What do you think you're spending ballpark?
So I mix it up. Primarily, I was using new internet live leads until the instant leads came around. And the instant leads were just so much bigger in the premiums. Okay. Ideally, what a lot of people, I was talking about this in one of our Zoom calls. You would notice on your agent numbers, you would have a lot of 5,000 producers sometimes, right? So I'm thinking, how do I get a 5,000 producer to a 10,000? So which then got them to start thinking, how do we get them from 10,000 to 20,000? Right? So when it comes down to leads, first, we just got to identify, are they even buying leads? Simple, like 20K producer. You guys saw it on Arizona. The top producers are doing $2,000 a week in leads, and they're doing 40,000. So if you want to do half of that to get to 20K, you should at least do $500 a week. Right. But I try to do a lead flow every Monday and Thursday. Okay, I wake up early. Okay, so that's why this is great. I love the 7 o'clock call, because it puts people right on the jump. Right. Because ideally too, when you're buying leads off the CRM, if you're at the office and you're trying to buy them at 8 a.m., dude, they're gone. They're exhausted. My first thing is I put it on my alarm clock. Wake up. Before I even go to pee, I grab my phone, CRM, Family First Life, nice. Buy the leads. Then if you want to snooze, feel free to snooze, but you need to buy your leads first before that happens, because that's gone.
Right. Because everybody else is thinking the same thing, man. That's the things that like make me laugh, is like dial day is like Monday and Thursday, and people wake up, 7:30, 8 o'clock on a Monday and Thursday and buy leads. And I'm like, dude, the rest of the company's thinking that way.
Yep.
You just buy the leads on like Sunday, Saturday for a Monday dial day. You'd be all right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you're stacking the deck ahead of time, so you're not worried. And if like there are leads in the CR on Monday, great, scooping them up too. But at least you're not worried about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But on the good side though, yesterday I was with my agent and she was dialing. She was on the CRM while we were dialing, and the flow of the instant leads kept coming. So she came and started buying at 11 a.m. and she was still able to get like 20 to 30 by the end of the day. So that's how crazy our lead flow is, and it's not even turned up.
Right.
So you got to understand,
like if you have 7,500 capacity, and they're saying they can push it to 45,000 a day.
Right.
That's scary, dude.
So you got to understand, if we have agents that are not there at 20,000, that's one of the first things we got to look at, right? Okay, the leads are available, the leads are there. What's their purchase count?
Right.
Okay, because if you're just running through the numbers, you're highly frustrated sometimes when you're working older leads versus mixing it up with new leads.
Right. You know what Sean told me, man? Like we were talking about this, like the numbers of the company, right? And he said, Steve, I told you what the average agent buys in leads in a month. Like you run your head through a wall. And I'm like, really? He's like, dude, the
Yeah,
average agent in FFL spends $300 a month on leads.
a month.
A month. And he goes,
Yeah,
that's why, you have like you said, the they're very few, the select top producers that go spend 2,000 a week, but then you have the very few that don't, or they buy very minimal. And it's like,
yeah,
you wonder why the scale in between is so different. It's like, dude, if we just got people comfortable spending at 500 to 1,000 a week consistently on autopilot, I think 20K is in the bag.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
easily. But you know what it is too? It's not about the purchasing leads. It really comes back to their head. We have entrepreneur mindsets that are spending money for their business, and we have W2 mindsets that are scared to put out anything
Mm-hmm.
before they get paid, because they're so brainwashed in their W2 mindset where they need to use their labor and time to get paid first before they make money.
Dude, have you ever bought leads and like never returned on them?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I haven't. So like I've always at least broken even,
Mm-hmm.
or like made more than I needed to, or I give that batch to another agent and they'll work them harder than I do.
Right.
So therefore they'll make money and I'll override my lead purchase costs. But
Yeah.
it's like, even if you buy the 3-month-old instance, right? Because a lot of people are like, 3-month-old internet leads, like that's even worse than the, whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, like I have agents on our team that's all they buy on purpose.
Uh-huh.
And so like, one of our guys, John Avila, he was in the office in Vegas like last week and we were shooting some content with Andrew. And he's like, dude, there's no new internet life leads or instance. He was like, let me buy the 3-month-old. He bought like $300 worth because they were so cheap.
There's so
He
much
put like
more.
6 or 7 of them like in like 30 minutes. And like he sold one of them for like $3,000. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
dude.
dude, like how do you lose in that situation? You know what I
At
mean?
the
Like,
end of the day, it leads to lead. And let me go back to how I've lost money in it. It's like, dude, you gotta mentally prepare for things. Like, okay, it is an opportunity, but for example, if I bought that lead pack, whatever that lead batch is, and I didn't return an investment for that week, that doesn't mean I can't get a return the next week.
right.
But that's how I consider it. Okay, did I make money off of this lead that week? If not, I still got to buy them instead of just rework them.
Right.
So that's what I consider that I didn't turn a profit
Right. But you'll
per
eventually
weekly
get
basis.
into them though.
Yes.
And see, that's where like,
Until you
Brandon
door
calls
knock
it,
them and stuff.
right. You door knock them or Brandon calls it stacking your deck in the favor. And dude, I remember when I was like my second year in the business, right? Like I didn't run appointments. I just booked appointments for other people to run because I
Okay.
just loved the phones. Like that's what I did. And so like, I remember, Joe Miller was one of the guys I was dialing for, and he would always send me like new leads, but he only send me like 15 or 20 a week.
Yeah.
Right. But my lead binder was like this thick. So like there were appointments that I would book literally that came in a month ago because it was
Same
just the
thing.
timing for them.
Yep.
And so it's like most of us, like we pick up a lead and we call them, 7, 8, 10 times on a dial day. And then we call them another 7 to 10 times the next dial day. And we're like, it's old. And we throw them away. And I'm like, dude, like
You
that
can give
lead's
that to a
gonna
new
answer.
agent.
Right. Or like it's going to answer like 3 weeks from now. And that's going to be the one that's for, 2-3 grand in premium that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
It happens all the time, dude. And so like for us, or at least for me, it's like I don't take a lead out of my binder unless one or two things happen. I see them or they cuss me out. Like
Yeah.
that's just me.
And
Like
you
if
can
they didn't
still make a
answer,
profit from that. You can still give
right.
it to a new agent. Maybe they didn't like you. They didn't like your face. They didn't like your voice. You give it to a different gender. They
Happens
they like them.
all the
Someone
time.
older, someone younger. They favored them. That's it. It's sale.
Dude, you want to know what's funny? So like last year I wrote Hall of Fame, right? Like I wrote 400K. So I took a batch of leads and I gave them to like one of the new guys that I work with. And I was like, I'm a Hall of Fame producer. Like, I think I clean up pretty well. I handed him a batch of leads and he wrote like 43 grand off of them. And I was like, wait a minute. Like you wrote 43 like he didn't buy one lead. He just ran all
Wow.
my old stuff and wrote 43 grand on my old stuff in like a month and a half.
So let me tell you about our old company. You know how we would get these good or bad leads or sparing leads?
Right.
Most of those leads were reprints. We call them reprints. It was from someone else. They didn't do well. They took that same lead and gave it to someone else, and they just kept doing that and doing that. Those were our basic leads, bro. And we made
So
money.
they
The
were new to
company kept
you, but
making
they weren't
money.
new to the company or the client.
No, so we call them reprints because it was printed. They reprinted it again, gave it to someone else.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's funny, man. That is
Yeah,
funny.
because
So
at the
hey,
end of the day, people are people, man. You just got to get in front of people.
and dude, the thing is too, like most people go, well, they book an appointment, they do the financial inventory, and they go, you know, the client doesn't want it, and I'm like, no, dude, like they already had the insurance before you got there.
Yeah,
They clearly know they have insurance before they got there, before you called, allowed you to come over, let you sit there and do financial inventory, and
yeah.
then tell you no. I'm like, dude, you messed up somewhere. Trust me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like they're like, well, the client already has a policy. I'm like, they had the policy when they fit out the lead. They had the policy when you called. They clearly had it,
Yeah,
100% mindset. It's like if you can get through that and go, yeah, I know, John, or that you have your XYZ policy. I'm here to strengthen your position is the word that I picked up from Paul McLean, right?
okay.
We're here to strengthen your position. Yes, that term you have is good, but it's going to expire in 7 years. At that time, you'll be 62 and have no coverage. Buying term at that age is foolish. We're here to put something permanent in place. We're here to strengthen your position. And people are like, I like that. And guess what you do? You don't replace anything. You just tack on a whole life or tack on a GUL or whatever you need to do. And
Yeah,
guess what? You made a sale and you protected the client. And for me, that's what we tried to teach guys is like people that spend money on insurance already, they love spending money, dude. Like you go in the houses, especially for final expense.
oh
That
yeah.
you always have that one lady that has like 6 policies.
So our old company, man, our old company, aside from not having a lot of leads, they also work your own clients. We called it POS, Policy Owner Service. And the company, because it's their business, you're not vested, right? They can work your own clients. So other agents will call on your clients and give them a policy owner service call and do the same exact thing. They just add on. They just call them and say, hey, I'm calling you on a 1 year follow-up. It's up for a policy review. Come in there, explain what you have, strengthen their policy, and just say, okay, so this is what you have. You have 15,000. Average funeral with inflation is going to go up to 25 to 30. You need another 15,000. You just double up what they're paying, and it's actually a higher close because they've
What's
already bought the
crazy
insurance.
is like I know what company you worked at, and it's like I've seen those. I'm
Yeah.
like they bought in 2013 and then
Mm-hmm.
2015 and then 2017. I'm like,
Yeah.
how many of these did you buy? You know what I
So
mean?
we've had clients that had like every 2 years they bought
Right.
for them, for the spouse, for the kids, for the great grandkids. There's always so much opportunity, but you got to just mentally be there to get in front of clients and know what to say and how to pivot around those things.
Right. Well, I mean, you just brought something up that I don't think we as a company, well, maybe the
Yeah.
company, or maybe it's just our agency because I don't do it
Yeah.
very often. I don't do annual reviews very often, man. I can only imagine how much business I'm leaving on the table. You know what I mean? And I'm hearing you talk about it. I know Andrew does it and a lot of other top
Yeah.
producers do it. How much money do you think people are losing by not doing annual reviews? At least 10 grand in
Dude,
premium?
annual reviews and referrals because we're so spoiled. A lot
We're
of
always
people like,
chasing the next lead. That's why.
yeah, we have so much leads. We never know how to milk. We had to learn how to milk 30 leads, right? In a month. And
Right.
those 30 leads won't get you 30 appointments because 10 are out of the way right away, right? Like not interested. You called me. This is you guys have been calling me every 2 years, or I've already taking care of this. So you have 20 leads and then maybe like 15 good ones, and then the rest you got a door knock. So we
Right.
had to survive off of like 15 leads in a month. We had to be creative, man. We had to know how to follow up in our old service, milk our old service, get referrals from the one we got finally get in front of. And other companies never had leads. They just worked door to door, get referrals, and made a business and made a killing that way. We just revolutionized it so much that I would say we lost a couple of foundations in the basics of the sales process, because we're hardly salespeople now. We're order takers,
We're
right?
order takers, right? Dude, talk about that. Like, so I don't even know how to get referrals.
Okay.
Like, I'm just being real with you, right? Like,
Yeah.
we'll close the sale. I'm like, hey, I'm your insurance guy for life, and see ya.
I'm guilty of that too, man.
But like, so you were taught this, and like I've always said this, where you guys came from, they teach agents better than I think any other company. I think Sean says the
Yes.
same thing.
Yeah.
You wonder why, like, that specific company, when they come here, like, all the agents kill, like,
You
especially
know
like
why?
you, because you
Only
guys
the
actually know how to
people.
work a lead, right?
Well, that and let me tell you the numbers. I mentioned this on Saturday. We had 1% survival rate. I would say 1% survival rate. So the attrition level on a brand new agent is like 99.99%. So only the top producers and the people that managed to survive being from a W-2 to a 1099 for that year, and they made a living from it, dude, they were solid rock stars, man.
Right.
Because they figured out how to make a living with barely having the
With
opportunity.
15 leads a month.
Yes.
Not even a week, a month.
Yes.
That is
so you had to
crazy.
have like a high closing skill. You had to have a good referral skill. You just had to have a strong work ethic to door knock. So we just grinded. So that's why.
Dude,
But any brand new agent that switched over, okay, they're a mix and match just because of that.
right. So like, how do you get referrals?
So this is the best one if you guys can apply this. And I'm so guilty of this because we just have so many leads, man. You just forget. You wrap up, call me, bye. I got to go to my next one. But there's three main ones. The most solid referrals are the ones you would sell or finish the presentation and just go straight in for the kill and say, now that we've taken care of this is some of my lines. So, this is a good thing. It's recorded. You guys can review this. So I sell you, right, Steven? So whatever your plan is, let's say you're $50 to $100 a month. Okay. And let's say your final expense. This is the most easiest one. Your final expense, now your burial's taken care of. I come back to you and says, okay, congrats. Great thing, Steven. Now that you have life insurance, no one in the family has to worry about this, right? So let me ask you this. Do you have any friends or family members that I could talk to that can use the life insurance, the same thing that you got? Because let me ask you this. You know what's happening around the world, right? People are burying families left and right. So if something happens to you, you're taken care of. No one has to worry about pitching in, doing a GoFundMe, doing any car washes. But if you have a sister or a brother, or maybe even your parents, or your, if you're older, your young kids, if they don't have any life insurance and they pass away, guess who's in charge of that? Guess who's going to have to help out?
Right.
It's going to be you, right? So wouldn't you rather I talk to them? Wouldn't you rather refer them and I'll have a conversation? And so that way, in case something happens to them, you don't got to shell out a couple of $100 a month because they're paying $50 to $100 a month. So when I'm asking for the referrals, I'm not begging for it. It's just a sales process as well. You got to create a problem, present the solution, and the solution is you providing life insurance to them.
Right. So you got to take it like you're taken care of, but your friends and family aren't. So like,
and if they're
they
not,
die before you got to come out of pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So now there's an incentive for you to refer it, right?
Right.
And in another line, I was just thinking about this too before our call. I was like, man, we had such a good lines. We were getting like crazy good referrals. Why the hell am I not using it?
Right. Because it works
we're so
well that you
spoiled.
don't need to anymore, man.
We're so spoiled on leads, man.
Right. So
and these are free leads.
So like, because Evelyn and Sack, they run referrals left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And they came from, where you guys all worked at.
Yeah.
In terms of like using that line that you just gave, because I've never used it. I'm just being full on transparent. How do you get people
set it up?
Like how often when you say that line, do people go, yeah, man, here's like 5 contacts or whatever it is? Like, how often would they actually give you a referral?
So yeah, when it comes to referrals, man, there's like such a skill to it too. You could run a class on it in a sense, because think of referrals. So we were taught back at our old company, we had the closing, there's objections, and you got to go over the objections of closing. We had referrals, and we had referral objections, and we got to go over referral objections closing. So there's
that here. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a skill to that. So let's do a quick role play, right? So give me every rebuttal you'll have. Okay. So who do you know that we can take care of? Who do you know that I can give a phone call to?
I'm not comfortable giving you my contacts.
Uh-huh. I understand. Right. So what we do is we have you call them first before I call them, so they know that you gave that information. So why don't you go and give them a call first?
So you make them call. You make them call them right there, right in front of you.
Yeah, why not? It's
No
a third
way.
party endorsement right there, right? Because now if their brother is calling, they're gonna pick up instead of the random stranger.
Right.
Even better, once they talk, hey, grab the phone right away. So that's one of our skills. That's one of the things. Okay, let me talk to him. So
No
now I've
way.
created the contact. Hey, by the way, so hey, Steven, this is John. I'm so and so's life insurance agent. We're just sitting down. We took care of his life insurance. We were thinking about you because he mentioned you don't have any life insurance. So I'd like to stop by for you and your wife. I'm going to be in the area tomorrow or Wednesday. You booked the appointment from that appointment. It's like a bam fam, but
Right.
it's turning a lead into another appointment.
Right. And how often? I mean, because I don't know the numbers, but like, how often would you go to that appointment and close it as well?
Okay, so how many people here that lived here for a while does not know any friends or family members?
Not many. Everybody should know somebody.
You know somebody, know somebody, know somebody.
Right.
Unless you're like in your situation, let's say instead of you just moving to Las Vegas, you move to like Idaho. You don't
Right.
know anyone in Idaho
Right.
for that week until you make friends again. So it's the same thing on assuming the sale. They'll know somebody. It's just up to us to ask a question and get a referral out of it. So
Dude,
how often? It depends on how strong your skill is.
right.
Right?
Dude, that's crazy. Hey, for
So
those of you
you
that
could
are on the
just
call, like wondering, like, I'm not that good and I will never be that good. And that's the best part is like, we're still able to do Hall of Fame without being that good because
you
our
know what's
system
funny?
here at FFL is that good.
Yeah. The craziest part is like, dude, we were so good. Uh, some other agent said this before from our other companies, like, dude, I actually feel weaker and I close weaker now because we just have so much leads that we don't have to try. Like instead of closing them so hard, like, man, I'm busy. I gotta go. Someone else is gonna need to buy this.
Right.
You don't give them that full blown, attack. I would say.
Dude, that is so crazy. And and that's where it's like training for brand new
Yeah,
agents is a big deal, right? So like we came here and like we just throw everybody at boot camp. We throw people at like online training, which is good. It
yeah,
helps. But I know that where you guys came from, they'd be like, all right, you're coming in the office. All right, I'm the blah 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 director. You're gonna have to present to me before you get in the field, and I gotta
yeah.
like sign off on it.
We had what's called checkouts. You had to check out your presentation. We had to learn a script. We had to learn a script before they moved into a laptop presentation. It was like a 12, 14-page script. You have to know it word for word, and you have to have the delivery. You have to have the objections. There's like lines. There's basically a table of contents of like listings of what you got to know and understand. The problem with that is you don't get any leads and you don't get paid during these trainings. So we would have like 6-week courses, Monday, like 3-4 days a week. And by the time that they come out, the agents are starving because it was so like micromanaged.
Mm-hmm.
When that's what's great about Sean Mike. He just makes it simple, man. Just get in front of people.
Right.
You just got to understand how to do an application, turn on and learn how to quote, and you can figure it out with the volume of people that we're getting in front of. They had to do that because we had such limited amount of leads. We had to maximize them.
Right. Dude, that's so crazy, man. That's why we're blessed to be here. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
um John, just a few more questions, and we usually open it up for the rest of the
sure.
guys to ask you some stuff. Um, in terms of run schedule, when you're running in the field, like are you dialing for yourself? Are you using other people to dial for you? Like how do you do that?
So I'm actually in this transition right now. I had a dialer. Okay, I got one through Army, and I've been doing that for like 2.5 years. And we had a split. So she ended up getting a new job. I was gonna fire her anyways because she wasn't getting enough appointments.
They
And
suck.
that's actually because that's what I saw in convention. I'm normally between 20 25. It's tough for me to get 30 to 40,000 in production because I don't make my own calls,
Right.
and so I'm never getting enough appointments from it. I get by. I mean, it's not bad, 20K, but how do I move on to the next level? And so it was a mutual split between me and my caller to start making phone calls on my own. And so, but you could do either way. Okay. So I mention this all the time. In business, you can do two things. You can either throw time at it or you can throw money at it.
Right.
If you have the money, you can get a caller, book your appointments, just focus on getting in front of people. If you don't have the money, you don't have $1,500 or $1,000 a week in leads, then you buy the H leads and you throw a lot of time at it. You do the door knocking, you do all that work.
Right.
So whatever fits you guys, that would be my best thing. So my dial days was the same. So now I'm doing my dials again. I'm dialing Mondays for Tuesday, Wednesday appointments, Thursdays for Friday, Saturday appointments. Before, when I had the caller, dude, I was in the field any given point in time. I'd spread it out Monday through Sunday on, good chunk of blocks, because I figured my dialer only cost me $200. Why do I need a dial day on Mondays and Thursdays if she can dial for me and she can book appointments for me on Mondays and Thursdays?
Right.
So the way I saw it, I'm gaining 2 field days by having a dialer, and I can make sales on those 2 phone days.
How many appointments would she book you in a week, though?
The only problem was she was getting only like 15 to 20, because no one's going to be as strong as you or as, I would say as directed as you on your own business.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if they call and they dial, they're still getting paid hourly.
But here's the thing, like 15 appointments scattered through 6 to 7 run days is like 2 to 3 appointments a day.
Yeah. So that
like
was
for
also
me,
the issue.
it's like, I rather compress that and run it in 3 days and just be like, I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what was interesting, the reason why I ask you is, dude, I've learned so much about the business being in the Vegas office. Zach Trudowski?
Yeah.
Last year had
$700,000 producer.
Dude, he had like 10 Hall of Fame producers on his team. Easton,
Yeah.
Jay Conan, Britt, all of these people, right? And I legitimately am watching them come to the office because they're recording content, and they legitimately dial for themselves.
Yeah.
They don't have dialers. Like I asked Zach, I was like, hey Zach, like, hey dude, between you and I, like, come on, just tell me to scoot, And he's like, I was like, what? He was
How
like,
are you
what's up?
doing?
I was like, who on your team uses a dialer? He's like, no one. I'm like, nah, dude, come on. He's like, no one. He goes, Easton books his entire appointment schedule from 7:30 to 10 every run day. 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., 2.5 hours, he'll set 20 appointments.
Yeah.
Right. And you wonder why he writes 20, 25 grand a week. Matter of fact, he's number 1 right now. He's ahead of Giordano.
Crazy. But
right?
You know why though, right? Because all of your appointments, like when I started making phone calls again, my problem now is like the discipline to just dial compared to, what I was doing before. Because of course, we have distractions. You just got to learn to get better and fight that. But the appointments I'm setting are more solid. Like they're stronger, they're solid. It's life insurance appointments. My dialer would used to call and say, hey, yeah, so he's just dropping off a package to you to get that information out. And so I would get stopped and porched at the door. So where's the package? I was like, what package, man? I'm trying to sell you insurance. What the heck?
Right. And that's the biggest thing, man. It's like, number one, they're not as good as you are, and they'll never be. And it's like, if you won't strengthen the phone muscle yourself, then it's like you're paying for it and you're paying someone to do a fraction of the job, and it's costing you money and wasting you time, because when you go run appointments, you're gonna get no-showed and you're gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
Like that's why for me, it's like, it was, watching this and I'm literally going, dang, like Zach's team dials literally by themselves. And dude, like, what's crazy? They're strong on the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you only get that way by getting kicked in the face on the phone a lot.
Yeah.
Like, dude, there's only like 4 objections on the phone. Why do you need to come over? I don't remember filling it out. I already got it taken care of. Right. Like, it's like, you only have so many things that you can say on the phone.
Yeah.
So it's like, if like multiple of like ways to rebuttal every single one of those objections, and you already have it in your back pocket, it's like, dude, it's easy.
Not just that, but think about the strength of your level. Your law of the lid with the phone skills is higher, which means when you're training another agent in your team, you can increase that.
Right.
If you don't have that experience and you don't know, and you're using a dialer, you're leaving it up to a lot of loss of control in all ends of the business.
And see, like, kind of like what you said, man, like you've ran 50 to 20 appointments consistently. You write 20 to 25 grand. What does Sean preach from the front of the room that all these top producers do? They run 25, 30 appointments. They just double up the lead flow and appointments to write double the premium. Like, surprise, you know what I mean?
Exactly, right? Think about it too. the crazy part is if you're so good on the phones and you have such a big amount of leads you're purchasing, guess what these guys are doing? They're picking the low-hanging fruit and they're getting big sales from it.
Right.
And since they're very skilled on the phone, the middle ground where a dialer would have lost, they're scooping those up and booking those appointments too.
Right.
So it's just a full-on onboard of like skills and abilities, and they're making a killing, man. So that's why it was a good time for me to let go of my dialer and just start dialing on my own to get better in this business and get a level up on it.
Right. Dude, I'd be shocked if you didn't write like 30, 40 within the next month or two. Like legitimately, dude, I'm serious when I say that. Like when we went Hall of Fame, it's like, you know, we double up our lead flow and our appointments simply and to write the premium we did in December. And all it was having more calls, outbound calls. It was nothing more than that.
Yeah.
You control your dials, you control your appointments, you control your AP. Like, dude, we all know that, you know, and it's like we have so many guys that are trying to write the 20K, but they don't have like you, the 12, 13 years of experience. They've been here for a year, maybe less than a year, but they're trying to write 20K on 10 appointments, 12, 15 appointments a week. And I'm like, dude, you got to be good. And I'm not saying you're not good, but at the same time, it's like, I suck. I just make up in numbers what I lack in skill. If I have 30 appointments, 20 of them are there, half are going to buy, whether it's you, me, Sean, Mike that shows up, Andrew, it don't matter. They fed out a form, dude. Like you said, it's lay down galore.
Yeah.
You know? So, cool, man. If you can like rehire yourself. So like, let's say you got started today, knowing what you know now, and you are your own upline, what would you tell yourself to say, hey, these are the mistakes I made. Don't do this instead, right? To get that result even quicker.
So new agents, right? You're brand new and you're seeing these numbers and you're like flabbergasted that the people are making a lot of money. So mentally, you're always thinking, how do I get there? How do I get there? What's the shortcut? Dude, there's no shortcut, man. This is their skill. This is you. You need to get here to that skill. And what's the fastest way to do that is get out there into the field. Okay, what's the fastest way to do that? Do you want to learn from your mistakes or do you want to learn from other people's mistakes? So now you got to plug in. You got to watch as many things as you can. I just remember Grayson Hughes. Remember how he came out like 2 years ago? He came from the car industry, and within his first month did like
80.
First 2-3 months 60, 70K.
Yeah.
I just remember one of the calls he said, dude, I just bunkered down and watched videos after videos and absorbed everything. Dude, if you really want it that bad, you just all the answers are there in front of you, man.
Right.
It's not this Zoom call. There's 30 other Zoom calls that have the answer.
Right.
But when is it your ability to actually try to learn that? How fast can you go from this skill to this skill by just plugging in, doing these Zoom calls, watching training, and if you have the ability, then yeah, put out the money so you can just get those presentations out because that's the only way you'll learn that.
Right.
It's through repetition.
And you said not being able to get anything from this Zoom, dude. I learned how to get referrals on this Zoom. So John, it was.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying you're not getting not our specific Zoom that's going to be the only answer.
Right.
Think about it.
Multiple
it's 1 hour out of the 24-hour calls. You just got to consume as much as you can, as fast as you can. Especially brand new agents. Like let's say you just applied for your license and your contracting, right? What's the gap between that until you get your agent number? How many hours, how many days can you have? 2 to 3 weeks, right? So how much can you absorb before you take off right away? You know?
Right. So, hey, we have a question from one of our agents.
Sure.
Shout this out to me. Great referral info. What do you do in a way of post-sale / thank you / referral follow-up? Like, what do you do?
Okay. So that's a good question. So there's a couple of things you need to follow up, and this is one, solidification so that you have a high persistency into your business. And then 2, you build a long-lasting client. So a couple of things you do is back in our company, a lot of people don't do this. But I sold Steven. Let's say I sold Steven. You know, you guys see it on Facebook, right? We take pictures of each other on the clients with the client. Take a picture of the client, okay? That's gonna save you and them. That creates a personal relationship. Mm-hmm. I then send that picture to the client on their cell. Okay. I tell them to save my number and I save their number on my cell. So whenever that client calls, I will already have their number. It's just instant like trust right there. If Steven calls me, instead of saying, hey, this is John, I already say, hey, Steven, what's up? And they're so surprised mentally saying, hey, man, my agent knows my name. My agent had my number saved. So all these little things, they add up for the relationships. Next, within a week, you could do a follow-up call. You do a 1 week follow-up. Hey, just wanted to make sure, did you receive your policy? Also, you can send a thank you card, just saying, here's a quick line, and you guys can review this. I'll talk quicker because I got to go to my PT. But here's the quick line that you say on the thank you card. Hey, Steven, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting you the other day. Thank you for allowing me to help you with your life insurance needs. If you have any questions or know anyone else that can use the same life insurance as you, don't hesitate to call. Okay, so now you've asked for a referral and you thank them for it.
Right.
Okay. And then lastly, when you're doing the follow-up call, during your 1 week follow-up call, you just ask him, hey, by the way, I just wanted to give you an update on those people you gave me a call to. I spoke to so-and-so, I spoke to Trey, I spoke to Joe, didn't work out. Or by the way, you gave me Joe's number. I haven't been able to get a hold of him. Can we do a 3-way text so I can get in touch with them? Oh, by the way, did you get to tell them about it? Sometimes they'll forget. Hey, can you give them a call right now? Can you give them a text? I can call them within the next few minutes. So it's all about just relationships, because a lot of people forget, man. People are people. You have this wall of a client to an agent type of thing. If they became your friend, man, they'll sell you the world of their whole entire family.
Dude, and when you have good clients, they do that.
Yeah.
They do that before you even get asked. They'll be like, hey, let me introduce you to so-and-so. And then let me introduce you to that. Like, dang, dude, I should pay you a referral fee, because it's like legitimately, they sell the person hard on, like, they're like, hey, John, you need to go talk to Steven. Steven's my life insurance agent. He's good.
Exactly.
Like,
you got to be that great. Your main role to be the life insurance agent is, if there's any conversation of a life insurance, your name should be the first one to be popped up.
Right.
I made it known to my siblings, my sisters. I'm Filipino. All my families are nurses. So guess what? They got nurse family members or coworkers, right?
Right.
These people make money. They're very well, paid, but they don't know a lot of things about life insurance. So what do they do in their lunch breaks? What do people talk about in their lunch break? They're at the hospital. People are dying with COVID, so they talk about life insurance. So
right.
First thing, life insurance word, my name got to come up.
Right. Call
so
John.
Speaking of referral, I just got a $5,000 check from America yesterday because I got a referral sale, $4,000 case, 4,000 plus, from my old friend from the old company. She referred her stepsister in Washington, bro.
Wow.
Crazy. So check this out. I had to get my Washington state license. Remember, I was texting you saying,
right.
How long does it take to get a Washington state license? It took about a month. I applied in February 9th. Finally got it on Monday last week. Sold the client on Tuesday. 2 HMS TBO, husband and wife. It's like $400 something, like 4,700 AP. And then she said, we still got to do my mom, and I still got to do my kids. Imagine how much leads, like if I didn't have money to buy leads, what's one referral giving you a $5,000 check to go and reinvest in the business? There's power into that. We just got to be able to tap into our resources.
Hey man, hey, thank you for jumping on, John. I know you got to go to PT, but dude, this was money for us, and I'm definitely gonna get this call up on YouTube and send you the link. We'll post it all over where we can, because it's just a missing piece in our business, in my opinion. Like kind of like you said, it's like I'm just thinking of it right now. Like how many people, like, because seniors like to go to lunch together, like in senior community.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine them, hey, Barbara, that policy you bought in the mail? Let me tell you about the agent that came over the other day and what he did for me. Like, kind of like you said, if like I want my clients to think of me when they think of life insurance, and it's like, it's free money, dude. Like, and I say that because I've experienced what you've done. Like I've sold on referrals, but it never clicked in a sense where it was kind of like do it on purpose. It was kind of like it accidentally happened, and I got an extra like 2,000, 3,000 in commission. I'm like, oh, cool. That was cute. Like, instead of going like, hey, that can happen in every home.
Yeah. You never asked. They just gave it to you because they love your service, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying is like, imagine if we actually did it on purpose and
Yeah.
asked people for like referrals, like you might get an extra
Yeah.
2 to 3 sales a month, and that might be an extra
It's
2 to
so
3 grand.
simple, man. So just as takeaway, and thanks for having me. Just as a recap, man. Like this is so good. Like I want to have start having my agents come and just join your
And
calls
you
at 7
definitely
a.m.
can, bro. We're
Because, dude, you know what? This puts you in a good position on a Tuesday. You start before you start in the field, especially us in the West Coast at
why we
7
do it.
a.m. before you hit your first field. You're
That's
already
why we
like
do it.
thinking about sales. And so this is something you guys can apply right away. Just ask the clients. Now that you're taken care of, who else do you know that needs life insurance like you? You can keep it as simple as that.
Right.
And then you expand on it because, you know, you got paid, your family's going to be taken care of. But if they're not, you're going to help out with the funeral. You're going to help out with the GoFundMe. So keep it as simple as that.
Money. Hey, John, thanks for jumping on, brother. I appreciate you. If there's anything I can do to return the favor to you and Albert, please let me know. And if you want your guys to jump on, you're more than welcome to, man. Like I said, we just love sharing content and helping people grow. Like I always said this, dude, like you and Albert aren't even on our team. Like we're not even in the same agency. Well, we kind of are under Andrew, but it's like I've learned just as much from you guys than I do from anybody else. Right. And that's the beauty of what we do here is like, yes, we might be in different marketplaces, but it's like, if I can help you, like, why not? And vice versa. You know what I mean? So, hey, John, thank you for, taking time out your day and, feel better. Cause I know you got to go to PT, but dude, if there's anything we can do, let us know. All right.
Yeah. We'll do some more of these, man. These are fun.
Dude, definitely. Right. Hey guys, make sure you get a chance to thank him, thank John, whether on Facebook, Messenger, whatever it is. If you got any value from this, we'll see you next week. Next week, we have 22-year-old Gage Corson, who wrote like 50 grand his second month in the business. That's going to be going over his home. So make sure you guys get on. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great week. Let's close out strong.
All right, guys.